What's happening, Soul Fam? It's another Tarot Tuesday, and we are going to be using all the different decks that have been won on Patreon because it just kind of fits the vibe of ending 2020. So we're experiencing the Cancer full moon right now. Some of the things that you want to pay attention to with the Cancer full moon is clean your house, okay? Clean your house today, particularly. You don't want to be wasting no time with like stagnant ass energy in your house, okay? This is one of the things you really have to pay attention to. One of my really good friends, was going through something, and I told them, hey, it's time to clean the house of all this negative energy from, so and so that's been in your life. So if you're holding on to any trinkets from your ex or somebody who's backstab you, make sure you clean that out of your house. If there's things that make you feel disempowered in your house, clean that out of your house. Put stones in your house, rearrange your furniture, new, fresh energy. Cancer is water. Cancer is energy of movement, okay? And water is also tied to your third eye. Water is also tied to the divine feminine. So during this time, we want to purify our lives. We don't really want to spend too much time kind of reminiscing in the past or having things that make us feel like we're stuck to the past. So that means anything that's stagnant energy, get rid of it right now. You also want to be drinking a lot of quality water. So I'm drinking like purified water, and it's like spinned water on my Mayu water thing. I'm not endorsing that. I'm just telling you this is what I'm doing personally. I'm letting the water be charged with intentions all night long, all day long, and I'm drinking it, okay? Quality water, no tap water, because tap water is filled of heavy metals and stuff like that, depending on where you are, right? And it's not good for you, okay? So we're going to be looking at different phases of the moon. We're going to start off in this corner over here. This corner is all about the full moon, and it's going to go into different phases as we come back around. Now, this is 1 month's worth of energy, and since this is the old energy that we're leaving in 2020 and we're using this energy to move into 2021, this is critical for you, okay? So you got to pay attention to every detail. I want you to look at this deck right now, and I want you to see which cards really like speak out to you. Are the stars, are the gold ones, are the planet ones, are they the ones that have like the black end on it, or are they the purple ones? It's just for you to pay attention to those specific details. If you feel really drawn to the gold ones, pay attention to specific details when the gold ones are red, okay? But this is a collective reading. This is going to affect everyone, all right? So it's going to affect us in different ways. We're going to be going over the inner child. We're going to be going over the shadow. We're going to be going over the divine feminine. We're going to be going over love. And we're going to be going into cosmic energies as we dive deeper and deeper and deeper, okay? So we're going to start off first with the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups reminds us that there's something here that no longer serves us. We don't want whatever's been happening. Now, some people are going to say the pandemic. Some people are going to be like, oh yeah, like I don't want to be at this job. Some people are going to be like, okay, yeah, I don't want to be that angry version of myself anymore. Or I don't even want to deal with the struggles that have been perpetually coming through. On the bottom deck over here, the Wheel of Fortune we see, okay? So like that tiredness is your intuition telling you to pay attention. It's only those who are not afraid of change that are actually going to make a shift in their reality and pay attention to that like Eight of Cups energy, which then walks you into the 10 Wheel of Fortune energy, which is positive change, okay? If you resist walking away from whatever's been holding you back, you will find resistance in that energy. So we're going to be looking at the outer edges of the deck first of this reading to see what are the cosmic energies that are coming in. First of all, we're going to look at the earth energies in the top corner right here. We have temptation with the sirens, okay? And temptation with the sirens has to do with something that we need to let go of, okay? Particularly, we see underneath that, we have Joan of Arc with faith, okay? Earth has to do with grounding our energies. Now, there's a temptation here for us to maybe, want to buy something that, has been really difficult for us to buy. Like in my situation, there's this trident I've been trying to buy literally all year long. It's a Makahala trident. It comes from a Tibetan monastery. Doesn't matter what I do to try to get this thing. It's like, I can't get it. Like it just won't get shipped here, and it's coming from Tibet. So it's like, oh man, like I don't know what's going on. And I have this constant, like, I have to get it, and I'm starting to understand that maybe I don't need this. That's a temptation that I'm not paying attention to. Is there something similar like that in your life that needs to be paid attention to? Now, temptations can even be like, oh, you know that you don't want to smoke weed anymore, and you've started making moves towards it, but sometimes your friends come over and they're like, hey, you want to smoke weed, right? That's temptation. You need to walk away from that temptation. Also, temptation is wondering whether or not you're going to be okay. There's a lot of energy right now, chaotic energy that's happening in our reality. And one of the things that is so tempting is to fall into fear and fall into like this self-defeatist mentality of like, oh, woe is me. Are we going to be screwed for the rest of the year? Is this ever going to fix itself? Temptation. That's why Joan of Arc underneath the card tells us that you need to have faith. Okay. If you don't have faith, then you're going to have an issue with bringing in that full energy. Now we have 11 and justice. Justice has to do with the goddess Ma'at. Justice has to do with the balancing of scales. Right now there is a cosmic rebalancing happening, and especially because the Cancer full moon is hitting us, it's purification energy. We're starting to see that kind of vibration. Also, the sirens, if you don't know anything about the sirens, they're basically like mermaids, right? That killed people with their beautiful songs and stuff like that. So sirens are also water-like energy. This is a lot of that cosmic energy that's coming through. Now, if we look in the lower left corner, we have 7 of Cups, which is telling you in the sun center, because we have the sun body over here. Ascension, there's something that we want that kind of seems like it's too far out. You know what I mean? When we see the 7 of Cups in the sun has to do with our ascension and our spirit. So there's something that we really, really want, but it kind of seems like maybe it's not like within our reach. Maybe it's too far out. Maybe I can't really like get it. Remember, you need to have faith, because the temptation is disbelief, okay? And if you have the temptation to disbelieve whatever's happening, okay, the cosmic justice of reality is going to deliver that same exact thing for you. That's what's all you're going to be balancing. What's really interesting is underneath this card right here that we're pulling, we have the 8 of Cups again, what we saw when we opened up the energies on this reading. So again, they're reminding you, the 7 of Cups is telling you there's something that you want. It could be like this huge project that seems like it's too far out for you to have anytime soon. Remember, time and space doesn't exist. Right now, we're walking through a great cosmic shift, okay? The generational wealth is shifting right now, not just in the terms of material abundance, but also in the sense of like personal fulfillment and personal acknowledgement and personal direction, okay? So we really need to pay attention. Don't think that what you want is out of your grasp, okay? It's not, nothing is too big, nothing is too small for you to attain at this time. You need to let that go. And finally, we have the Hangman, which is basically telling you have a new perspective in this lower left corner with your soul. Have a new perspective in knowing that, okay, your old belief systems don't serve you anymore. Those are going to get washed away. We're cleaning those out with the Cancer energy. And whatever it is that we want is never outside of our reach, because the universe is helping us attain that kind of vibration. All right. So let's start off right now. Today's the full moon. We're going to find right here is where we're going to start off. We have justice energy that comes out again. That's the second time that justice comes out on a second deck, telling you whatever's happening right now, we can't avoid it. Like, it is cosmically being directed by a higher source. Whether you want to consider it God, whether you want to consider it source itself, whether you want to consider it the Galactic Federation or the collective consciousness, there's something that it has been agreed on, and this is going to happen. No, so listen up, okay? Everything that we've been sharing so far is going to happen, and we cannot avoid that. Now let's go ahead and look at the other corners here on this reading. When we look at the lower right-hand corner, which is like a asteroid outer energy from our solar system, we have unrequited love. And the mantra is, there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep a relationship going, okay? Especially if you're somebody that's looking for a soulmate, because the next card underneath that one is soulmate. So if you're somebody who's been looking for your significant other, your significant half, remember, if you're not loving yourself, your significant other isn't going to show up. Like, a lot of people get angry when you say that, and they're like, oh, I deserve love or whatever. That's just not how it works, okay? We are what we put out into the realities. You are what you attract. You're a magnet, okay? If you don't love yourself, how are you going to expect somebody to authentically love you? That's not going to be the vibration. So right now, it's really important for you to step into this vibration of understanding, okay, where have you been blocking yourself from attaining that soulmate. Now, sometimes your soulmate doesn't always have to be a romantic relationship. Sometimes your soulmate can be like a really good friend, a really good business partner. Sometimes your soulmate can just be your soul path, okay? Because sometimes we feel like we're engaged to something that's above us, right? So like one of the vibrations that I definitely carry is like, I'm married to the universe. Like my soulmate's the universe. And like, that's where I'm working at all the time. You know what I mean? He's got my back, I got his, right? So the energy that also comes up with that is the magician energy, which is telling you, you need to be creating from a space of love, okay? Even if you feel like, what's the point of doing that right now? If you start believing that you don't have a point to be existing from a space of love, which is all about 5D energy. 5D energy has to do with love. That doesn't mean bending over for people to walk all over you in the terms of love. It's saying that I love myself enough to look at the things that are happening in my reality. For my friends that I've been hanging out with lately, everyone's going through some sort of shift, okay? For each one of my friends, I've been reminding them, just like I reminded my peeps on TikTok yesterday. Like when we think about fear, I did this exercise where it's like, okay, when I say the word fear, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Love. Okay. When I say the word love, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Omnisentience. Oh, okay, great. Why are you afraid of love? Because people always hurt me. All right, so we start talking to ourselves, our subconscious center, and we start pulling out the things that need to be drawn out. Now this right here is divine motherly energy that's also connecting to our inner child. So a lot of us are having reflections of the inner child and things that, maybe were good or bad, or we realize that it is a link that's been holding us back, right? And that's where the unrequited love in the right-hand corner comes in with the cosmic energies on the outside, telling us, hey, you need to give yourself all that unrequited love, like that requited love. You need to stop causing yourself that unrequitedness so that you can then have a higher vibration in your reality. So then in the farther corner over here, in the left-hand corner, we have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles on two different decks. So like this is another outer energy that's really, really powerful over here. The King of Pentacles reminds you not to be stingy, okay? Maybe you've noticed that there's been a form of abundance that's come through in your reality most recently. Like maybe you've been getting more money. Maybe you've been realizing that you just have more energy. Maybe you're just being more real with yourself, okay? Like the King of Pentacles wants to remind you not to be stingy, okay? And to also apply that treasury in a very methodical fashion, right? So if you're somebody who's been like, oh, I'm more real, like, some of the people around me are having like a meltdown right now, I'm not about that, that's cool, okay? One of the things I want to really, really bring up today is that there's this trend that goes around the internet every once in a while that says like, oh, all the people who are just about positive vibes are like actually spiritually toxic. That's not true, okay? The problem of spiritual toxicity when we're trying to just be positive, like you're just positive vibes, man, comes when we can't relate to other people's like pain or when we use that as a way to escape sympathy and empathy. So we really need to recognize that positive vibes only in your reality is very much so realistic. If you're hanging out with somebody who, is having a meltdown and you just can't deal with it, knowing yourself is being real with yourself. That's you using cosmic currency of realness with yourself and you saying to yourself, I can't be around this because I need to be around positive energy. That's different than you saying, hey, you should just let that go because it's just, you're not being positive. Like, oh my God, like I can't hang out with you. You sometimes can find your positivity without having to say anything to anyone. You can just literally remove yourself from the situation. The Queen of Pentacles reminds you that this is a great time for you to connect with your community. Start networking specifically because there's a lot of energy right now where the collective consciousness is trying to find unity in this time, okay? Cancer is a lot of emotional energy. It's a lot of divine feminine energy. It's a lot of like surrendering kind of energy. Cancer can also make us feel like crazy at times. So when we can find other people that we can relate to and talk to, that's going to help us move through the remaining cycles. So those were all the outer energies minus the ones that are over here in the far right. I'll be reading those in just a second as we dive deeper into this. So remember, the full moon today is telling you all these details that I gave you. Now let's go ahead and see how the rest of the month is going to be playing out. we have the Four of Coins, which is basically telling you that, you know, there's something in your reality that isn't making you happy anymore. Like, and that doesn't need to be something major. It can be you not being real with yourself, right? Like, you're not happy enough with yourself because you're not being real with yourself. The other day I was doing a meditation. I was doing like tantric yoga at home by myself at like 3 a.m. in the morning. And when I was doing certain kinds of stretches, I had these secrets come to me like, oh, this is something that you really want in your life, and you don't even recognize that you wanted this in your life because you keep telling yourself it's not cool to think about this as something that you would want in your life, etc., etc., etc. Particularly, the energy that I'm really feeling here is worthiness, because if we look at this card, the character is like a Rapunzel. She's looking out the window and she's like hoping for something to come through, and she's hoping like the prince will come and save her. Hello, Rapunzel needed to save herself from the get-go. The original story of Rapunzel with the long hair and having some man come over and like save her is not the divine feminine being empowered. Stop being Rapunzel. Save yourself. Like, you know, cut your own hair, create a robe, get out the fucking tower. All right, that's literally the kind of energy that we need to do. And if you do that, you will bring in this energy of new love, okay, which is a new person has stirred a romantic feeling for you. Now, for some of us, that new love again is just marrying the divine feminine, or marrying that energy within ourselves, because we've chosen to become powerful. Remember, the cosmic energies are forcing us to step in this direction. You can choose to listen, or you can choose to take it the hard way. Either way, you will move. And if you decide to go with the flow, it's going to be more beneficial for you than not going with the flow. So a new love, remember, new love for yourself. Now, we have the next energy. The High Priestess comes up. The High Priestess is all about balancing duality, positive and negative, learning the secrets between both, because you can't just live reality from one end or the other. I've said this a bunch of times in courses, on lives, whatever. You know, a lot of light workers, a lot of healers, a lot of people that believe in spirituality only look in one direction, which is towards the light. And if you're always looking towards the right, you're going to miss what's happening in the left, okay? So we need to learn how to be okay diving into the darkest centers of ourselves. Sometimes the darkest centers of ourselves are actually quite liberating. A lot of people are afraid to dive into their shadows or ask themselves why they do things or how they do things. And it's because they feel insufficient. You know, they feel like, you know, if they dive into their darker aspects of themselves, then they're doing something wrong. That is not the case whatsoever. Like, sometimes you discover, oh, the reason why I get mad so easily is because I can't hang out with 3D people anymore. Hello, then stop hanging out with 3D people, and then bam, like, you finding happiness all of a sudden. You know what I mean? But a lot of times people are like, oh my god, I don't want to look at that. Like, ooh, that's me being judgmental. That's not you being judgmental. It's you being judgmental if you're like, I hate 3D people, right? That's judgment right there. They're all stupid. That's judgment right there. But if you say, I can't hang out with 3D people because it throws me off my center, that's a different story. That is empowerment. That's you getting to know your shadow and knowing what's going to create more of the shadow. Because if you force your shadow, who does not want to hang out with 3D people, to continue to hang out with 3D people, you're going to keep manifesting all the annoyance and all the discomfort that you don't want to be experiencing, right? So we need to get to know ourselves, balancing the yin and the yang as we step into this new power of saving ourselves. A lot of humanity has been waiting for somebody to save themselves, save them, especially with the Galactic Federation announcement that's been made, which a lot of us have known it's been here for a hot minute. Like, it's nothing surprising, it's nothing new. But for some people, they're like, oh, aliens, they're gonna come and they're gonna save us now from our own bullshit. No, they're gonna watch you until you figure out that you can save yourself. Like, that's literally why the Ascended Masters have been incarnated in this dimension, and why you have a bunch of spirit guides. What are your spirit guides always trying to make you do? Figure it out for yourself. They can guide you, but they ain't gonna use your free will for you. You know what I mean? That's the final call that you have to have. So don't forget that we're letting go of some of the old. As you let go of the old, what are you doing? You're shifting timelines. A lot of times people think that quantum leaping, quantum shifting timelines is this huge, massive thing that you have to do, and you're going to just automatically feel it, and it's going to be like Star Trek-y or whatever. That's not how it works. Every time you choose to let go of something that doesn't serve you anymore, that's you jumping a timeline. It's really that quick, it's really that simple, and it's really that subtle. Everything in cosmic theory or chaos theory is a subtle change. We live in a parallel universe with slightly different laws, and we can jump between them back and forth. Most importantly, the Nine of Swords. As we balance these things that no longer serve us, we need to ask ourselves, what are we carrying that doesn't belong to us anymore? Are you the person that people always come to and they're like dumping all their shit on you and you just don't want to do that anymore? All right, don't do that anymore. Bam. Are you getting messages that you should take a vacation? Shut up and just do it. Like, what else are you going to be doing right now, right? And for some of you, it's like, oh, I'm afraid to go travel the world. Learn why you're afraid. Are you afraid of the pandemic, or are you afraid of something else? Like, are you afraid of death? A lot of people don't want to experience the pandemic, or they're afraid of the pandemic because they're afraid of death. And that's a natural course of reaction. That's okay to have that reaction. But it's important to not victimize yourself with things on the external. Yesterday on TikTok and on various different places, I was telling people, I was doing an exercise and people are like, my mom hurt me, or my significant other hurt me. No, your mom and your significant other are just instruments that are used to remind you of something that you wanted to remind yourself of. They're not the problem. They're just the instrument that delivers the trigger. So if we start detaching, okay, well, I'm afraid of COVID. No, what you're afraid of is death. You know what I mean? What you're afraid of is illness. Get to the core of that. Start looking at reality more finite, more like detailed in those sections, and you will be able to then understand yourself better. Now, not just like COVID, let's just drop that concept together. Are you carrying things that don't belong to you in the terms of like, for a while now that you should have changed your diet and you didn't do it? Are you, did you know that you had to stop smoking weed for a hot minute and you're still doing it? Are you working at a job that doesn't make you feel fulfilled? Are you in a relationship that doesn't make you feel fulfilled? Have you been holding your breath for somebody to come through and tell you, hey, you're my everything, I want to be with you, and let's get freak nasty? No, okay? Holding on to all that baggage, that's what we need to be letting go of. Anything that does not empower you, anything that does not make you feel like your ultimate maximum self, let it go already. That's you basically telling the cosmos you're rebalancing positive and negative, and you're going to justify yourself in a new reality that has new cosmic laws, okay? These are the things that are really intrinsic in our evolution when it comes to quantum jumping. Now, the final card for this one right here is the Fool. The Fool is this zero energy, the cosmos. Here we're coming back. We're having a lot of repetition, as you can see, in multiple different decks, okay? I shuffled all these decks. They're all, I've never used these decks pretty much for anything other than like a few TikToks and the reviews. And like, bam, we're starting to see very consistent energies across the decks that are aligning themselves. The Fool energy is telling you trust the universe. Most importantly, trust yourself. A lot of times we don't trust ourselves. Like, we don't even know how to do that. We say, yeah, I trust myself. But do you really? Because if you trusted yourself, you wouldn't do half of the stuff that you do. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't try to like force yourself to, be in a relationship with somebody, or like, go to the party that you knew you didn't want to go to and then get to the party and be like, why did I come here, right? Like, if you trust yourself, you got to learn how to live that lifestyle. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to have this cosmic event that happens externally that's going to let me trust myself and fall into this higher vibration that then's going to let me let go of all the bullshit. No, it's you first taking the first step of saying, okay, the cosmos is working on my behalf. Like, I've been getting all these messages. I've been, doing these kinds of healings and works on myself. I'm going to trust myself and hit the next peak. Now, as we dive deeper this month, a lot of you are going to be calling in your soulmate, okay? Here's the second reference of the soulmate energy. We have new love energy as well. It's been coming up a lot of different times. Remember, the main thing that was on the outer edges of the cosmic energies, which was like giving yourself the love. And if you're mastering that, this is going to speed up even faster. There's somebody in your reality, especially if you're in that romantic space, there's somebody in your reality that wants to declare their love to you, and they want to be in your vibration, okay? So like, your prayers are and affirmations are being heard by that other person through the astral. Right now, more than ever, the astral is so like lucid. Everyone's connected. Right now, if you had a thought and you wanted to send like a quote unquote email, an astral email to somebody in your reality and just let them know like, I love you, or like, I hope you're doing well, that person will have a thought about you. They may not process it as like incoming email from so-and-so, right? From Axel, Astral Mail. They may just be like, oh, I just thought about Axel. I hope he's doing well, right? That kind of vibration is cosmic energy. Everything's connected. So the divine feminine being not only what we're stepping into in 2021, and also being heavily connected to the Cancer energies. There's a lot of feminine energy in terms of like, Cancer is very elusive and psychic powers. Your psychic powers are on hella blast right now. So take advantage of it. So then we have the Five of Coins. And the Five of Coins is basically telling us, don't be afraid of losing things. So a lot of times, like, people are afraid of accepting love for themselves or from another person or in their reality because they're afraid of love. Okay, they're afraid of getting hurt. They're afraid of understanding love. So they always have like this skewed perception of what love means. If you're not somebody who is looking for a soulmate or connecting with that kind of vibration, this is reminding you that you need to let go of all the fear that comes with your unworthiness. Okay, when it comes to feeling suffice in your reality. That means let go of all the unworthiness that doesn't make you feel like you can have whatever you want. This universe is literally a catering system. It's a huge butler, all right? And the moment you tell the butler, I want some eggs and toast, he's gonna go get it for you. But you also have to know that, like, you have to trust the butler. You need to trust yourself. You need to trust yourself that you put the order in correctly on the system. And you need to trust that someone's going to deliver the food for you. A lot of people don't do that, okay? Especially with the cosmos. Everyone thinks that the cosmos is like this crazy ass like thing that like is super out there and is like very difficult to like connect with. But that's not true. That's not true. It really is as simple as you saying, hey, butler, like universal butler, this is what I want. When you go on vacation, you try not to focus on money. I don't know about you, but you try not to at least me, I try not to focus on money. I'm on vacation. I'll take care of the bills later when I get home, right? Because you have to have fun. Right now, we're being reminded to step into the full energy of rebalancing our lives towards more love. That means having more fun with ourselves, having more fun with our lives. Is there something that you've wanted for a while? Just get it already, all right? Have you not been giving your inner child love? Then do that right now, okay? That's the main thing right there for the people, especially who are not like summoning a soul mate. The next energy that comes up is the Hangman. This is the second time that the Hangman shows up, okay, on the decks over here. The Hangman is telling you, well, the most important thing right now is a change of perspective. This is the most important thing to pay attention to in 2021, your change of perspective. Some of you are going to go into 2021 still believing the same shit that you've been believing about yourself forever. Guess what? The Egyptian Book of the Dead tells you that if you believe that you're a king, you are a king. If you believe that you are a peasant or a slave, you are that as well. Because this reality is going to give you what you believe you are. So you need to have a new perspective. That new perspective is somebody is a new version of yourself. That person doesn't think the same way that they used to think, okay? And this might seem hard for some people who are not accustomed to doing this, right? Like, they don't know what's kind of like there, what's vibing, whatever. But you need to understand, sitting with yourself and saying, okay, what's the new version of me that I'm going to exist in in 2021? Is that person more abundant in wealth? Is that person more likable? Is that person more famous? Is that person more community oriented? Does that person have to even worry about anything? Do they feel fulfilled? Do they feel happy, right? Getting down and starting to like write down a little story or a little template of like 2021 version of Axel is XYZ, right? And even ABC, right? So we want to go through all of that, really architect that, and force ourselves to see where we're blocking ourselves from being that, okay? And that can be like how your practices on your sleep cycles, your diet, that can be just like old trauma that needs to be released. This is the other thing I want you guys to always remember. A lot of times people get caught up on trying to heal. They get in something called the healer trap, okay? Where you believe that you constantly have to heal. There comes a moment where you have to recognize that healing is not the answer. Infinity exists. So like healing is not the only way to solve a problem. Sometimes you confront your shadow and you get to the core of what it is, right? Sometimes you ask yourself, why am I so angry? And you hear and you wait for the answer to come through. And then you have these different opportunities to really get to know yourself. Don't get caught up in the healer trap. It's not always about healing, all right? So change your perspective. That's twice that they're telling you. Now we're going to go into the next one. Pay attention to the red flags. Didn't I just tell you that? Pay attention to the red flags. This is basically telling you straight up, like, listen to Axel. He's trying to point you in the right direction. What are the red flags that need to be changed in their perspective, okay? For some of you, is literally taking up meditation on a regular basis. For others, is literally cutting cords with people or not taking things so personally. For others, it's going to be whatever. You are living your own story. You're the only person that can see yourself from the most authentic point of view, which is source. Like, literally, you know yourself, like the same way God knows you. If you believe in God, if you believe in source, whatever. Nobody knows you but you and God, all right? Pretty much, source. So pay attention to the red flags that you are even catching yourself. Like, one of the greatest things that I've done in my own evolution is asking myself, if I was in a relationship with myself, what would be the red flags that I would have to pay attention to? Most people never look at themselves in that situation, especially when we're trying to manifest like a lover or whatever, right? Or we're trying to manifest a new reality, and we're trying to create a new reality from old systems that no longer serve us, like self-sabotaging behavior. And this is where self-sabotage comes from, is because we try to change towards the future without recognizing what are the things from the past that we need to really take a good look at. So then we have the Four of Wands, which is reminding you there's a lot of opportunity here for you to make a lot of magical things happen. But if you don't take the time to discover your own magic, how are you going to be able to use it? A lot of times people are like, I want to be more psychic. I want to be this. I want to be that. But you don't even know yourself. How the hell are you going to know how the cosmos works? Because the cosmos is directly represented by you. So like, once you get to know yourself, you get to know your magic. You get to know your alchemy. And then you can really tell reality, oh, we're going to make this happen, right? And it's like, you don't have to wait until you fully know yourself to make that happen, but you do need to start making that as part of your practice. Every day, get to know yourself. Like, you're in a relationship with yourself. Everyone's like, I want to be in a relationship with somebody else. I want to be in a relationship with this one, like, existential event. I want to be in a relationship with this or that, whatever, right? But we don't spend time getting to know ourselves. We are our own best friend. We're our own best lover. And when we get to know ourselves in that fashion, where every day we're trying to make ourselves happy. That's another thing that people don't do. Some people wake up in the morning and they want to make other people happy, but they don't give themselves that same credit. Like, how are you doing that? Like, how are you living your life from that point? Like, treat yourself as your own lover. If you have the same stamina to wake up in the morning and look at your significant other and be like, yo, I love you, let me make you breakfast. How about you do that one day for yourself? You wake up, look in the mirror and say, yo, I love you, let me make you breakfast. That's a huge change. That comes into the same alignment of new love, loving yourself, which then, if you're looking for a soulmate, is gonna run into your soulmate, because why wouldn't somebody love you? If you're already in a relationship, I guarantee you it's gonna make your relationship even better, because you know what? Self-confidence is sexy. People who believe in themselves and own their own vibration is sexy, and your partner is going to react to that as well, okay? So you really need to start owning your story, because that's the key. Right here, this is a secret alchemy key that you can use to dominate 2021. This is all fifth dimensional energy, and the constant theme here is love and changing your perspective on your fear, like 100. So then let's go ahead and look at this. This is a very important inner child thing that I'm being told right now. Four of Cups comes in again, okay? Four of Cups is telling you, you already know that, you know, you've been living this life for a hot minute. It's just not vibing with you. So just chariot, move. So when we're talking about the inner child, like, what are the things in your inner child that don't feel suffice? They don't feel complete, right? When you were a kid, was there a toy that you really wanted and your parents never bought it for you because maybe they didn't have the funds, maybe they didn't think you deserved it, maybe it didn't align with your religion, whatever. Heal the inner child. Like, if your inner child wants to go buy that freaking transformer that came out in 1999, freaking buy that transformer for yourself. Make that little kid happy, okay? Move, make those shifts. Let go of the things that have been holding you back. I'm gonna give you another great example. In the last couple weeks, really honestly, I've had a couple of my exes that know how to talk to me through the astral realm, okay? And they literally send me like astral texts, like in the astral realm, to kind of get my attention, like, hey, you should look at my page, hey, you should message me, hey, you should do this. And every time one of those thoughts comes through, or one of those messages come through the astral, I literally tell them, I'm not interested in it. Like, I hope you're having a good life. I'm not interested in that. That energy is not going to be here. And then once I realized, okay, I'm tired of it with the Four of Cups, right? I don't want to do that. No, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like eating chicken. I'm not going to eat chicken because I'm vegetarian. Like, you ain't going to persuade me to eat chicken. During the holidays, one of my really good family members, he knows I'm vegetarian, but he wanted to make sure, like, I tasted his ribeye, whatever beef that he was making, his steaks. And he came in and he just automatically asked me, Axel, hey, so how do you like your beef well done? And I was like, I don't eat beef. So you want it well done? I don't eat beef. You want it well done? I'm not gonna eat it. Like, if you want to make it to make yourself happy, like, cool, like, but I ain't gonna touch it, right? Nobody can make you do whatever it is that you don't want to do. That's the same vibration. Like, sometimes people are like, oh, I want to let go of anger. Oh, I want to let go of sadness. I don't know how to let go of sadness. I don't know how to let go of anger. The same way, like, if you're a vegetarian and somebody's trying to make you eat beef, like, no, I ain't gonna do that. The same way when one of your exes is trying to hit you up and be like, hey, you want to hook up? No, I don't want to do that, right? Hey, do you want to be sad today? Do you want to keep holding on to this inner child trauma? No, I don't want to do that, right? It's the same, like, you already know how to train your reality however it is that you want to train your reality. You're the only one that's ever, like, complicating it because you think it has to be done in a different fashion, okay? Everything repeats itself, okay? If fashion repeats itself, if cycles in history repeat themselves, that means you already have the internal database to find an emotion that can relate to a specific thing and use that as a platform to change, all right? So we're going to dive deeper into this one. If you manage to do that kind of vibration, you're going to step into, like, this honeymoon kind of phase, okay? That honeymoon phase is going to feel, like, real juicy. If you've ever been in the honeymoon phase, you know how juicy it can be, okay? And there's nothing better than being in the right mindset, in a relaxed space with a new perspective on life, to be on a fucking honeymoon, okay? Like, 100. And if you do that, you have the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is literally telling you that that's the secret to dominating your own magic, and that's the secret to dominating, like, all of 2021. Just this right here. So, like, when we start reading this other half right here, they're basically telling us we ain't gonna be coaching you anymore on what needs to be done for your own self-empowerment. We're gonna tell you how the rest of the year is gonna play out. Especially as we walk into the next full moon, because this is what's going to be happening. This is going to be a major majority of 2021, right? Because, like, so this right here is basically the energies we need to master going into 2021 and master hopefully before 2020 ends. Like, some of you won't be able to do it if you're not advanced at doing this, but that's okay. Just remember, even if you're going into 2021, be focused on these things. Now, we're going to look at the outer energies again on the decks over here. We have the, sorry, I can't see. We have the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands is telling you that there's a huge energy that is coming through right now, like massive, like, especially, it can't be avoided, okay? Then we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is reminding you that huge energy is gonna be testing at times, especially in 2021, because there's gonna be a lot of different things that are gonna be changing in 2021 as we step into that. Not only just, like, the financial systems are gonna change, but there's also gonna be, like, the restructuring of society. Like, a lot of people don't want to talk about the New World Order. It's happening, all right? There's two versions of it. There's a New World Order that's going to stomp on people, and there's a New World Order that's going to allow those of us that are divinely serving our purpose to, like, pop it. You know what I mean? We're going to be, like, rocking this. We're going to be, like, doing really, really well. And the only way you're going to do that is by understanding this vibration. 5D is about love. Figure out love. Whatever it is that you need to figure out in terms of love in your reality, find that, okay? Like, that's pretty much the gist of it. Now, the new moon is telling us the Ace of Cups. By the new moon, there's a lot of financial changes that are happening in 2021, especially in this Cancer full moon. So if you're somebody who's been trying to materialize wealth and abundance and stuff like that, I'm telling you right now, we're in water energy. What is money and currency? It's energy that is represented by water. If you've taken any abundance class with any abundance guru, okay, they'll always use this mentality of money is water. And if you keep money stagnant, then you're going to basically, like, have rotten water and gross, like, putrid water after a while, okay? So you really need to make sure that you're in the flow of your abundance. Don't worry about the abundance, even if it seems like a little bit, like, stressful at times, just know that the universe has got your back, right? Isn't that what we were told over here on the other half? Excuse me. So know that there's a huge wave of money coming for everyone who does this kind of work. If you don't do this kind of work that we represented over here, then you're going to be probably facing some sort of financial hardship. But again, that financial whatever is based off of how well you know yourself and how well you're going to keep living your reality. So free yourself, okay? Free yourself from whatever it is, again, that does not serve you. We have the 5 of Wands, which is basically telling you, you know, this is going to be very liberating. It's going to give you this abundance of rebirth, and it's also going to make you feel kind of like you're losing your mind, and it's scary. Like when you're basically the phoenix, it's scary because you start finding like your power, and you can see how easily your power isn't represented by other people in a positive fashion. You know what I mean? So like, not everyone can hang out with me. Not everyone likes what I have to say when I say it, because I see things how I see them, right? Like, you're going to have those same kind of vibrations where you know what's up, and you're going to be living your life from that vibration of knowing what's up, living in this higher vibration of love, being abundant. And some people are going to be on the outside of this energy looking at you and being like, I can't stand him or her, or ooh, like whatever. They'll find a reason to retaliate, to try to suppress you and put you back into the matrix. Now, this is the thing you guys have to pay attention to. Those who are not fully awakened, they serve the matrix. They don't even know it, but they serve the matrix. And it's kind of sad. You can't be mad at them because that's all they know, right? So you need to be able to say, okay, well, this is like, I recognize that this person isn't at 5D. Like, it's not that they're less than me, but they can't see what I'm looking at, right? They're not living this vibration. They're not living this lifestyle, and that's okay. I honor you still. All I got for you is love, but don't step on my toes, okay? Because then that's when we're going to have a problem. But I love you, right? That's the kind of vibration you got to have with everybody stepping into 5D 2020. Cut a new pathway with the Ace of Swords that comes out. Cut a new pathway. And while you do that, you will find your divinity, your royalness, okay? This is all about, 2021 is also about like taking risks, okay? You need to start trusting yourself to make the proper risks, because there are so many illusions happening right now in our reality to make sure that you fail, okay? And it's a game that's being played by the conscious elite and those who are like, you know, still trying to figure out a new vibration of their own reality. So allow yourself to embrace that power and make decisions, even if you have nothing to make your basis off of. Like, for instance, like if you're investing on stocks or something like that. Like, a lot of times I'm told, invest in this stock. There's no proof that this stock is going to go up, but I have to trust it, right? And I do it, and bam, like it rises, and I start making hot money off of it. I'm glad I paid attention to it, right? So you need to start paying attention to those nudges, regardless if you're working on stocks or you're being told to go apply to this one job, or you're being told to like start this new project. That's the vibration you got to be owning. Because again, we have the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is telling you it's going to be a little bit of work to change yourself in this vibration, to own your power. Now they're telling you you're not going to have work in reality. You're going to have a hard time mastering yourself. You're going to have a hard time getting to know yourself. Now, that's not me programming you to have a hard time. This is for those people who don't already do this kind of work. If you're somebody that's really accustomed to working on yourself already, and you're somebody that really knows yourself, and this is your lifestyle, this is going to be mega easy for you. Like, the hardness is not going to be there for you. It's more, you're going to have that ability to reflect on, whoa, I was really making things hard for myself. Like, damn, right? Versus the people who don't do this on a regular basis, the hardest part for them is going to be, you know, getting to know themselves and working on themselves on a consistent basis and owning that, okay, regardless of what other people say. We have the Page of Wands that comes up, and it comes up upside down. Now, the Page of Wands is telling you, if you're going almost like the last 2 weeks of January towards the next full moon, okay, if you're one of the people that's struggling a lot, it's because you didn't get the message that we said to you. That's where the Page of Wands comes up upside down. The Page of Wands has a halo, which is transcendence in Antojai Alchemy. It means like controlling time, transcending timelines, stuff like that. And the Page of Wands is all about manifesting things in specific. He's learning how to manifest things well on a regular basis. So when it comes up upside down, it's telling you that if you feel like you're struggling towards the end of January, before the next full moon comes through, is because you're not paying attention to your manifestation power. Remember, It's all about your perspective, okay? So if you're only struggling because you're creating that struggle, is literally what they're telling you. So the next cards talk about, have an opportunity right now to feel sexy. Like, you want to start working on your sexiness. How beautiful are you? Start talking to yourself in the mirror. Start treating yourself to, like, you know, good food. Start treating yourself to good clothing. Start treating yourself in a way that says, hey, I love myself. That people say they love themselves in a different way, and they find beauty in different ways, but that's the main vibration that you need to be owning, so that the sun, or joy and happiness, continues to radiate in your life with this Cancer energy. Now, the Cancer moon energy so far is bomb, okay? There's nothing bad that's been here. It's more so like, some of you are literally gonna have to change the way you think. Others are just gonna have to embrace more love. Others are gonna have to heal, and others are gonna have to literally change their perspective on everything, literally. And for those of you that have to change your perspective on everything, it's gonna feel like you got hit by a tsunami wave, okay? The tsunami's already coming, okay? So the moon has to do with manipulating water. Cancer has to do with water. He's a crab. There's a tsunami of energy that is coming. On the 21st of December, I had that premonition along with a couple of my other friends. That is a huge wave of energy that's coming, and there's nothing. Just like a tsunami comes through, you can't tell it stop, like, skip me, just hit the rest of the areas around me. No, like, if you're caught in that tsunami, you're screwed, okay? So for some of us, we know how to, like, you know, get on a plane and rise above the tsunami and watch the tsunami from a plane above, right? Having a higher perspective on earthly matters. The tsunami is going to be a distraction in the earthly realm. If you give into that distraction, you will find a lot of resistance. Now, the next card that comes out, again, is the Page of Pentacles, which is telling you this is all about learning a new system of abundance and reality. Like, we're no longer going to be working with money as we know money to be, okay? So one of the things I can give you as a tip is, if you got cash, start moving your cash towards, like, cryptocurrencies. Start putting your cash in investments like stocks and stuff like that, because cash is a liability at this point, because they've printed it out so many times that, like, it pretty much is worthless, okay? And it's good, like, we're having very similar trends as other, like, portions in history where we've had depressions and money basically becomes kind of like worthless. So that's why right now there's a lot of people getting into cryptocurrencies and learning more about stocks, because that's the way the world is being directed to thrive. And that's where the major division here that we're seeing in the cards are going to play into, with the redistribution of wealth. If you get on the train now, you won't have to deal with, like, that redistribution being, like, against you, okay? Because the world economy is actually changing, and a lot of people are not fully aware of that. A lot of people hear it, and some people are like, you know, whatever, but everything dies, so we have to change the way we see reality. For a lot of 3D people, it's going to be like tapping into stocks and stuff like that. But also for 5D people, we're not only just going to be using stocks and Bitcoin and whatever. We're also just going to be living off of energy. Like, your energy is currency. And when you learn how to master your energy, you will have, like, as much money as you feel like having, as much abundance as you feel like having, as much security as you feel like having, as much freedom as you want to have. But you have to, first of all, detach from your ego. You need to detach from the old programs that are making you feel less than. So how do we do that? I've been saying this already. You need to love yourself first, all right? And understanding that, like, your well-being is in your hands. A lot of times people are like, oh, I'm gonna put my trust in this one politician and he's gonna help me out and blah blah blah. For instance, like, there's this, like, Biden, for instance, he had said that he was gonna clear out student debt or whatever, and now he's pretty much coming through saying, like, I don't think I can do that, right? A lot of people put their power in that person and said, like, oh yeah, this is going to be my savior. And what happened? He just screwed you all over. You know what I mean? Why? Because the power of your own creation comes down to you. If you have a student debt, you want to know how you pay that shit off real quick? You end up loving yourself. You end up loving yourself so much that you say, I don't even have that anymore. And you're going to notice that the money starts just showing up anywhere. And of course, when the money shows up, there's that temptation that comes up again with the sirens. Ooh, I just got $5,000 out of nowhere, like, whatever, my taxes or whatever. Oh, I'm gonna buy this, like, freaking useless couch or whatever, you know what I mean? Instead of applying it to what you originally had been intentionalizing with that currency of energy, okay? So remember, everything's strategic, everything is a plan. We have the Three of Wands that comes out, and the Three of Wands is then telling you again, hey, like this vibration right here is all about mastering yourself. Buddha always reminds us, every esoteric guru always reminds us, I am a master of nothing other than my own universe. Quantum science has proven that each person has their own personal universe. Surprise, it's taken thousands of years for quantum science to freaking figure this out, but the ancient Egyptians were already telling us what was up. The Atlanteans were telling us what was up. The Sumerians were telling us what was up. Freaking everybody has been knowing about this, and somehow we keep erasing this because there are those in power that don't want us to remember these types of things. That's why we have this culture of misinformation. We have a misinformation on medicine. We have a misinformation on how to help ourselves. We have a misinformation on what esoteric magic actually is. We have a misinformation on what being multidimensional actually is. We have a misinformation on what reality is. Like, I want you guys to never let go of this one thought that I want to leave in your mind. In 1980s, like in the 1980s, the CIA was documenting fifth dimensional consciousness. They wrote a whole paper on how it works and how you can bend reality, and they did all the research. You're telling me that since the 80s, that's been out, and we've been creating a whole society that is against that finding, and they kept that secret? What? Imagine if they would have let that go in 1980 and people would have started making technologies, buildings, lifestyles around that. We'd be in a parallel universe right now that empowered each and every one of us. Surprise, we can still get there because time and space is an illusion, separation is an illusion, and those of us that feel like living there are going to be able to transform and shift in that direction, okay? But that comes down to your own internal consciousness and your own internal awareness of how well you know yourself. You can't change timelines if you don't know what you're looking for, right? That's where the risk of timeline jumping comes in quantum theory. So then we go, again, the 10 of Wands. Like, you're going to be able to, like, master this. You're going to be able to be gravy with it. Just remember, everything takes patience. Like, patience doesn't incorporate time. Patience is a vibration. A lot of times people think patience and they automatically think, oh yeah, I gotta wait for time. Oh my God, I gotta be patient. No, patience is also having patience with yourself. Like, sometimes you ask yourself a question and you don't know why and you get frustrated. Have patience. Like, let me look at it from a different angle. Patience is not, okay, let me wait for it. Like, patience can be, let me look at it from a different angle. Let me do something kind of different and just not freak out. Let me be patient. Let me not freak out. Let me temper my thoughts. Let me move forward strategically. That's one of the things that we really need to pay attention to. And then we have Justice. This is the third time Justice has come out, now in a third deck, okay? And what's funny is, like, it's 2 cards away from the beginning sector over here. And all Justices are over here. Justice, Justice, Justice. As you can see, the cards are really trying to make it super, super clear to you that you ain't gonna get out of this at all. Like, you can't be looking at the universe and be like, woe is me at the end of this cycle and be like, oh my God, why didn't things pan out the way they wanted to pan? I wanted them to pan out. Because that's literally what you're going to sound like to yourself and to everybody else, because nobody cares anymore. Like, at this point, we're all conscious creators. Yes, we need to work as a team in a collective consciousness to make sure that we all get to a place that services all of us, but we're all dedicated and responsible for our own weight. You can't rely on other people to save you from yourself and work on yourself if you're not willing to do the same work for you. And that's one of the things that I notice with a lot of my clients. Some of my clients will come in, well, not a lot of my clients, but some of my clients will come in every once in a while and they don't want to do any of the work. They want me to do all the work for them. I didn't live your story, all right? Like, I can help you navigate your own story and how to let go of that stuff in your vibration, but no, like, I'm not going to go ahead and I'm going to live it for you. By the way, don't forget to follow us on Patreon. If you're seeing this, your support is amazing. Check out the new tarot course that is also out. Link is going to be in the description below or on my social media platforms. If you want to learn how to do quantum tarot and all that stuff, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok before we keep going. Love you. All right, so anyway, back to it. And give me a follow too on all those platforms. Don't leave me. There's a great deception. I just literally was talking about that like 4 slots ago. There's a great deception playing out right now. That's the cosmic justice. And those of you that will buy into the perception of the deception are the ones that are going to fail, are the ones that are going to get hit the hardest with this vibration of like insufficiency and not feeling happy with yourself. So, Two of Wands, you already know what's up. Take action. Today's the day to start taking action since you've been told what's really good, all right? Give me a like, give me a follow. Now, the centerpiece right here. This centerpiece has to do with like the grand motherly energies that are happening right now in our reality. So this is like the divine boom, you know, like the Big Bang in the center of our reality, because this is Kali energy. We're stepping out of the Kali Yuga age, which is basically like when we're really destroying ourselves, and we're going to be stepping into a new age which allows us to nurture ourselves. So what do we need to pay attention to? What is the divine grandmother trying to tell us here? Okay, we're going to start off here. Is where I'm being fooled. Four of Cups. Again, this is like the third time that this Four of Cups has come up. Like, you already know what's up. Like, let go. Trust. Sometimes, like, when we were kids, we didn't want to do something anymore. Like, Mommy, I don't want to play with him anymore. And what would she do? Okay, then we don't play with him. And if you played with him, and then you came back and complained to Mommy, what'd she do? Why are you keeping playing with him? Right? So, our divine mother, the divine cosmic consciousness of this energy is trying to remind us right now, hey, you know, stop doing the things you know you're being told through this reading and through your own intuition to stop doing. Because some of you have been getting the same messages over and over and over again, whether it was through TikTok or your books or your internet searches, the same messages on something you need to let go of, okay? And if you're not willing to do that, then, I mean, whatever. You have this irresistible energy about yourself that you can use to your advantage to grow in a very good way. Artemis shows up and is telling you that the main energy that the Divine Mother wants us to remember is individuation, okay? Being an individual. Who are you as an individual? Yesterday I watched this great video, this great lecture about, you know, society is biased onto who they find to be acceptable, right? So like people become famous or popular because they create a personality that the grand majority wants to like be associated with. But when that person starts to be really, really authentic with themselves, all of a sudden the narrative of the society changes because that's not the agreed upon perception that they had of you that they wanted to keep, right? So this is one of those things, like, be an individual even if it costs you followers. Be an individual even if it costs you friends. Be an individual even if it costs you like whatever it costs you, because that's the true vibration of Artemis. Artemis is literally a hunter. Freya, irresistibility, is also a warrior. We're stepping into warrior energy. I don't like using the term light worker. I like using the term light warrior, okay? And spiritual warrior is even better. Alchemist warrior. Those are good divine feminine energies. And this is the goddess deck, so they're really telling us a lot here. We have Basset that comes in and she's telling us to play. Haven't we been told already to play in the earlier sectors? We're being reminded again. So if you've been here, you know, and you were questioning, oh, well, I don't know if this really resonates for me. It's like, this is cosmic energy. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at in your reality. This applies to everybody, okay? So we're starting to step into this vibration of equality with Lilith. The problem in this reality right now with the grand shift is that there is no equality. Like, there's been a distribution of power that, like, what? I can't remember how many. Like, there's like 97% of the wealth in the world belongs to like the 3%, or like at the top 3%. Like, what? That's crazy. You know, there's this inequality, and the energy of Lilith, which is, you know, the grand mistress of illusions and secrets, right? The freedom fighter of like your self-consciousness. That vibration is stepping in right now, not only to show us the secrets that are going through, but to also let us know who we really are deep down inside. Some of you are going to run away from that, and that's okay. But you also can't complain when the rest of us who didn't run away from it are thriving and we're finding our own vibrations. We have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is reminding you, hey, more warrior energy. It's time to look at this and not be afraid. Run into the eye of the storm head on, knowing that the cosmos has got your back, and the cosmos is actually the one that wants you to do this, okay? Sometimes we hear these kinds of messages and we're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I don't know. And that vibration is gonna like make you crumble, okay? Sometimes you just gotta like know the universe is backing you up. They want you to do this, let's do it. Bam. I'm gonna run blindly into it because I know my homies got my back, okay? If you do that, we have the Ten of Pentacles that come out. You know what the Ten of Pentacles is all about? It's about happiness. It's about being fulfilled in your own reality. It's about feeling like you're everything that you need to be. Abundance. It's about spending time with family and friends. It's about having the things that of quality in your reality. That's why we got to make this warrior energy count right now, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull out the following cards down here. These are the final cards that we have. King of Pentacles. This is the second time that the King of Pentacles shows up. Remember, abundance isn't just money. And don't be stingy. We have the Ten of Wands. Another time that the Ten of Wands has just represented itself. You know, just keep working on yourself. Like, know that this is possible. Anything is possible if you don't give up on yourself. Reality is really, really strong on willpower. If you lose willpower on yourself, ain't nobody else gonna give it to you. Let go of control issues. The Divine Feminine is all about like surrendering into a higher vibration and knowing that that's chill to do. We have the World card in the center. Where this is New Year's for a lot of people, right? We're shifting from one year to another. That's kind of like a world shift for a lot of people internally. We know that the world is shifting as we dive deeper into a new financial system, and we do all these other things that are going on. So we really need to like be paying attention to, like, the world is another judgment. It's very similar to justice. You know, like, you can't escape it. It has to happen. Death with the world comes up, okay? Death to the world. They can't be any more like blatantly like obvious about what they're trying to tell you right now, okay? So you got to let go of the control issues because you can't control everything, all right? You will get to what you want if you have a true willpower, because we are shifting timelines. Now, this, again, didn't I tell you the Judgment card? Like, Judgment just popped out again, telling you, like, it is what it is, boo. Like, you don't have to believe it. We have Judgment for the second time, double layering itself on the freaking cards, okay, from a second deck. They're telling you right now, listen. And if you don't want to listen, we don't really care. Like, it's your ascension, pretty much. So, have passion in this new world, okay? Like, as the old world dies, have passion in everything you do, and you're going to bring more of love and abundance in your reality. With the final judgments, that's how you bring chemistry. That's alchemy. Chemistry was previously known as alchemy. All right, that's where we are at. We're all at here at Antojai. We're alchemists that are learning how to bend reality, bending time, bending souls, bending spirits, bending the elements. That's what we do here. This is the ultimate vibration for every person that's looking to become their ultimate self, and you need to own this to be that person. Finally, we have the Knight of Swords. Make it happen and don't look back. Run deep, baby. Okay, so this is a Cancer full moon. Thank you so much for watching this. Share this with people. You know, follow, comment below how much this resonates with you. Press that little notification bell so you don't miss a beat. Support us on Patreon for more cool classes and stuff like that we're doing all year long. And follow us on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm sending you all of my love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll talk to you later.